Hi guys, how are you? Okay, so today what we're gonna do is we are gonna do sort of a swirly rainbow background, and the reason we're doing that is because we're gonna be putting our all about me side profiles on that and have it as a nice background. But you could easily do this for any other project. If you want to create a background and just kind of do a collage effect, you can also do this as well. It's super easy. So you need some white paper and you need a pencil. But because I wanted to show, I'm going to draw my swervy lines with a color marker. You also can use different color pencils or you can have crayons. So I have a variety of colors. I have purple, I have two kinds of blue, I have green, I have red, I have a yellowish orange, an orange and a peach, but I can also add turquoise, pink, and yellow. I may not actually use all these colors because it really depends on the length, the thickness of our swervy lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So you have your paper like this. You can easily do it as this. I think actually maybe this way will be better and easier for you to make noticeable swirly lines. So let's just go ahead and take a look. So this is your paper, and it's like if almost if you're making some hills and you are getting your paper. Let me just only get one. And you are going to start from the top and you're going to make some swirly lines like this. It's almost like if you have a swirly spaghetti. Do you see that? And then you're just going to follow along. Now, you don't want to go too thin because what that would mean is that it would be more work for you to color each section. So then you just make, I would say about 1 to 2 centimeters in width. You make another swirly line such as this. It is just mimicking that section. And then I'm going to continue to do that as well. And I'm going to go ahead and continue making more swirly lines. As I make more, that little kind of indent, like I messed up here, but that's okay. Gets a little trickier. And right now it looks like if I have almost like a big bunch of flat noodles. I'm going to go ahead and continue. If you want to outline this and make the lines in between black, you could do that. So over here, if you notice, I don't have space to make a whole one. So it's almost like if it exists, but it's not fully showing. So what I am doing, I'm just making sort of curves over there. And then the same thing applies for the top, right? The top, you kind of want to make those indents. So it just assumes that you can't fully see those swervy lines, and that's okay. And you continue. So now it's a matter of choosing colors. You don't have to go the rainbow route, which is Roy G. Biv, which is red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, no, Biv, blue, indigo, and then B, which would be purple, right? So you don't have to go that route. You basically have the option of making it any which way you want. So I'm going to choose, and I don't have to put it in that order either. Something that I also like to do, and I'll show you over here, is that I kind of like to mix colors in. So for instance, if you have color pencils, it works a little bit easier, but it also will take longer to color, which is perfectly fine if you have the time. So I sometimes will mix two colors, like maybe I'll mix a green and a blue or a green and a turquoise to create a new color, and you can easily do that as well with your color pencil. So let's just go ahead and start with that green. Okay, so the top I'm going to just choose green. This green is not the darkest of greens. It's actually more of a yellowish green, even though the crayon kind of makes you think it is a green. Now, this is another thing. Some of you guys might be, first impulse, let me kind of color sort of a scribbly scrabbly, meaning like in all sense of directions. The answer is no. You want to go the same direction as your curve. So you are making sort of like a CU, and then you turn your paper as you go along because that would facilitate you being able to color in such a way. And I'm going to continue. See, if you notice, I am going in the direction of my curves. I am not going all over the place because when you do that, which I kind of did a little bit over here, it doesn't look that neat. You don't want it to be in all different types of directions. You want it to kind of go with the direction that you're going. But I want you guys to now take a look. 1 second. I'm just going to try to finish this up so I can show you what I'm talking about. Because although these are curvy lines and they are sort of like colorful ones. I have like something here on my table, which is giving it like this indent mark. So you want to make sure that you are working also in a space that doesn't have lumps or like little separation things, because your color pencil and crayon will catch that, and then it'll end up showing on your curves. So you also want to create some kind of contrast even between colors. So that's why you don't have to go the Roy G. Biv route. You can also go a different route. The only color that I would suggest not really using is the brown, which is ironic because I am using the brown as a separator. And that's just because the brown is a little bit bland and you want it to pop out. Black would actually look really good. So now I'm getting my other color, which would be a blue, and I can lightly go over this. So then it's sort of like a bluish green. It's not a full blue, right? It's sort of like a darkish green. Do you see that? So the contrast, and maybe you can't, the contrast of this green, and then you have it a little bit more blue. And you can actually press harder if you want to create more of that contrast. And then it looks like two kind of colors mixing it up, right? It looks like two color, and I'm going light with the blue because I don't want it to take away from the green. I want to kind of make it into this new color, or at least a print or something that has more than one color. And you can't fully see it with the video, but you can definitely see it as you are coloring along. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with our yellow. So we have done yellow, and I believe we've drawn, let's say, sun rays or something like that. Oops, I went in there, not good. And when we went and did the sun rays, we had a combination of colors, right? We had a combination of a yellow. So I'm gonna go, because I messed this up, I'm gonna skip this one and color it turquoise blue. So now this is going to be yellow. So I'm really getting in there. So yellow is something that kind of is hard. Not hard, but like it's harder to make that color notice. So I want to make sure that I'm really coloring much darker here. And I'm going ahead and just making sure that I'm pressing pretty hard so that I will be able to show the color. Okay. Okay, so I'm back. All right, so I actually went ahead and colored the whole thing yellow, and I'm on my way to coloring this a turquoise blue. So what I wanted us to do now is to look at that yellow and see how we can enhance it. Now, you could either A, color the whole thing a touch of orange, or you could just go on the end. So kind of it creates like a shading effect, and that's the route that I'm gonna go. So we wanna be creative that when we're doing these swervy lines, we don't have to limit ourselves to just the actual color. We can mix it up, we can jazz it up, and make it something that just will be a little bit different. So let's just go ahead and do that. So as you see, I colored all of this section really hard with the yellow. I'm gonna go with the darker orange, the actual orange, and I'm just gonna go on the end so it can create sort of like a glow, just like if we were to do sunset, kind of create that thing. And you could just go like this, kind of like it's the opposite direction of the curve. And it's just going like this, and it creates a nice sense of shading on the end. I actually went in there, that's on the other side, but that's okay. And I'm just doing it, and I have to press a little harder because I use the actual crayon. Now, if you were going the route that you're using color pencils, it would actually be easier to sort of blend it in, and it wouldn't require for you to press it as hard. So I'm just gonna continue doing that. Now, if I look, it's noticeable to me, but it's not as noticeable as maybe I want to be. So maybe I could even take it a step further. So I'm going to bring in my red color crayon right here, and I'm going to just press it harder. So we know the combination of yellow and red makes an orange. So I want this to look sort of like an orangey red. So that's why I chose to go ahead with my red. And it creates sort of like a sunset effect if you take a closer look. And I'm doing it on one end, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing it on the other. And because it is red, I want to press much lighter than I would if it were orange, because then it would look like red and yellow, and that's not what I want. I wanted to sort of create sort of a sunset yellow, and I'm just achieving that by just pressing very lightly. I'm going to go use my my orange crayon and just go over that, just doing it sort of the opposite effect. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press much harder because I want it to really notice, and orange is obviously lighter than red. And here it goes. That's pretty much it. So you can see from a close-up look, it's not an ordinary yellow. It is a sunset yellow. And actually, if you can see a little closer, I'm gonna press a little harder here, just so you can see that I am doing the turquoise. The turquoise is my next one. And again, this is a combination of green and blue, but this turquoise can actually go the fun route. You could either mix it up with maybe a purple. You actually wanna always mix it up with a color that is sort of complementing, but not going so far off course, so that way you can create an actual color. Anyway, that's it for today. I look forward to seeing what you do and achieve. Again, you don't have to go the simple route with just one color. You can use multiple colors in one section to create a new color. Have an awesome day. Bye.